every object has a hidden voice, from engine to toothbrush. I'm holding two electric toothbrushes in front of me, one good, one bad. They sound almost identical. Can you tell the difference? No? That's my point. Even in this quiet room, our ears can't tell the difference. On a typical factory floor, it's impossible. And for over a century, engineers have been trying to listen through the noise. It's like trying to capture a whisper in a storm. Signal-wise, is AIF deep scan, the industry's first acoustic see-through technology, can hear and decode those hidden voices. It doesn't just discover problems, it reveals the root causes as well. Deep scan transforms acoustic chaos into clear and actionable intelligence, redefining how industry understand and tackle their problems around them. Our journey began with a simple but costly problem. In cable connector manufacturing, quality control still relies on human hearing, a subjective and error-prone method that leads to expensive rework, warranty issues, and costly recalls. Auto OEMs lose $5.3 billion every year for faulty cable harness connection. When Zach, a seasoned CEO, shared with me his frustration during our homeowners meeting in 2024, I said, Signalwise can fix that. Several years ago, we developed a acoustic fingerprint-based solution for Ford Motor Company to tackle cable connectivity issues. At the time, AI was not available. Now, by combining AI with acoustic fingerprinting, we created AI deep scan, a system that can isolate targeted acoustic signals even in the most complex and noisy environments. And that's how deep scan was born. Deep scan is not just a concept. It's already transforming industry. CISO Technology, a leading connector manufacturer, purchased the two systems and ordered 20 more. Lear Corporation, a global automotive parts supply, is piloting deep scan on their airbag assembly lines to meet GM's safety requirements. Why? Because their vision systems cannot see what deep scan can hear. Other pilot programs are underway at Valeo in France, YDK in Japan, and BYD in China. And yes, we're in direct discussions with GM, Ford, Tesla, and Titan to tackle their most persistent reliability or challenging issues. Our customers say the best. Brian Dye, CMO at CISO Technology, told us, deep scan eliminates finger pointing between OEMs and part supply. It's a game changer. Kevin William, quality manager at Lear Corporation, said, if deep scan can solve what vision systems cannot, Lear will listen. And they are listening indeed, because deep scan can discover problems even the best vision systems cannot. The opportunities ahead are enormous. Deep scan applies for connectivity, electric motors, bearings, speakers, engines, and any industry where sound equals health. We're addressing 20 million in short-term pipeline, with a long-term potential reaching 10 to 100 times growth rates over the next decade. Each deep scan system sells for 15 to 20,000, achieving 70 to 80% gross margin. Our platform scales easily from industry quality control to predictive maintenance, evolving into a high-margin, recursive revenue business. We're now raising $1.5 million to accelerate commercialization, so scaling production, expanding application, and driving market adaptation. With your participation, we'll bring intelligent acoustics to many manufacturing lines, helping industry to listen, learn, and lead. At Signalwise, sound becomes insight, and insight drives the future manufacturing. Thank you very much for your attention. Sean was scouted at the Manutech Innovation Summit. Luke, I think you were at that. Joe, I know you were at that. And Sequestro, our next presenter, comes to us from Next Cycle, Michigan, where I had the privilege of seeing Sequestro first present, I think at Gaylord? Or in Detroit?
It was in Dearborn.
It was in Dearborn, thank you. Oh, at the Dearborn. Some of the folks in the back may have a hard time hearing, given how noisy the room is, so they're going to use that. Your 5 minutes, you can see.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I would like to invite all of you to come on a short journey. The year is 1981, March 29th to be exact. I was born into a small town, a farming village in southern Germany. Think small. Smaller? Less than 100 people kind of small. It was really the kind of place where life and nature have seemed to always been integrated. My early childhood was really shaped by hardworking people. No one in my extended family had ever gone to college, let alone study something as abstract as chemistry. But curiosity was always encouraged, but opportunities were scarce. But growing up in that environment taught me something important very early on, how to make the most out of limited resources. So I became good at a lot of different things, building, repairing, improvising, and that type of resourcefulness and self-sufficiency has stayed with me my entire life. Now, excuse me, that has stayed with me my entire life. So eventually that curiosity took me far beyond the boundaries of that small village. First to Florida for a graduate program, and eventually a postdoctoral appointment at the University of California, Berkeley. And that was the first time where I was exposed to an ecosystem where science, curiosity, and entrepreneurship worked together in tandem like I had never seen before. And that was really the foundation of what most people would call a successful career. I spent 1.5 decades working in the chemical sector, building and developing advanced materials for global chemical corporations all across the US. But at some point across this career, my sense of purpose began to fade. Now the learnings were plentiful, but my sense of impact was disconnected from reality. And then at some point, I started to figure out why that was. I had spent my entire career learning how to make chemicals and put them into the world, but what really kept me up at night was how to take those chemicals back out of the world. I didn't want to walk away from chemistry altogether. I just wanted to put it to use differently. So I started asking questions, a lot of them. One of them was to the University of Michigan Innovation Partnerships office. I literally walked in one day, found the licensing director, Jeremy, who some of you might know, and asked him whether he had a proprietary technology in his portfolio that could have a real, tangible impact. And that is when I met Professor Anne McNeil. She had just developed a wood-based adsorbent that was superior at capturing PFAS from water. You know, the forever chemicals that contaminate all of our waterways? That idea was so simple, yet so elegant that it immediately drew me in. Take a wood-based material, something abundant, something local, something scalable, and turn it into a high-performance technology that you could use to address one of the most stubborn environmental challenges of our time. I tried to play devil's advocate, but my mind could not help returning to this technology over and over. And that conviction eventually grew so strong that I left a stable corporate career to focus exclusively on this mission that was just about a year ago now. So all that was left was this intense belief that this technology could be a game changer in the world of PFAS capture. Now fast forward to today, we've executed significant amounts of non-dilutive funding to build the foundation of our business, to develop the core technology further. And we just raised our first pre-seed investment from the MEICF fund that will allow us to produce kilogram quantities of our material and really approach customers and convince them that sustainable PFAS capture on a meaningful scale is not just achievable, but really the future of this technology. And we continue right now to raise on that safe note to continue fueling our growth and to kick off our sales process. Now, if you remember this kid, the small town kid from earlier in the story, just like him, Sequestro is a story about taking limitations and turning them into strengths. It's really about taking a simple material like wood and turning it into something that can address one of the most challenging environmental challenges of our time. My name is Jürgen Kohler. I'm founder and CEO of Sequestro, and I'm thanking you for going on this journey.
When we first saw Shifty, I think it was you, Maka. Yeah, we said I'm down.
And we announced that we were looking at Shifty to our peers in the Michigan Angel community, and they just fell all over themselves saying, "Oh, what took you so long? Shifty is our darling. You're going to love her too." And it's like the least shifty venture we've ever seen. That's all I got for you. I'm sorry. That's the joke. So please give a warm welcome to Beth. Beth, down here's the button.
Yeah, no, I wasn't planning on
The
it.
down button is the advance button.
Okay,
There you go.
all right,
Your
thank
15
you.
minutes begins now.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody. I want to make sure you can hear me okay. If I can get away with not using the mic, I'd prefer that. So is everybody good? Okay. As David said, I'm Beth Hussey. I'm the founder of Shifty. I'm also a restaurateur. I've been in the restaurant business really my whole life. I've had a very successful career, kind of worked my way up through the ranks over the years. I was sweat equity partner in a number of successful concepts. I love creating concepts, so I was able to create a couple of smash hits with other people's money. And all that led me to where I am today. I currently own a restaurant called Hazel's. It's in Birmingham, so I've got to plug the restaurant in Birmingham. If you haven't been, you should check it out. It's a popular seafood restaurant, and we opened right before COVID hit. So as I mentioned, it's my first solo venture, and as luck would have it, we opened and boom, there comes COVID. And while we were closed for COVID, that's when I decided to take that time to kind of dive into this project, something I've always dreamt of doing, but never had the time or the money, which was to figure out a way to turn the unique system of training restaurant workers that I developed in the early 90s into a technology platform. So I discovered very early in my career that training and employee development is my passion. It's what I love about the business. I went on to open over 20 full-service restaurants. I got a reputation in this market of being great at, putting and keeping good teams together. And so I dove in and I figured out how to get software developed. I learned about startups. It's a whole different animal. I raised the money I needed to raise to get the MVP developed, and we launched about 3 years ago. So it's an exciting story. We're solving a massive problem in the restaurant industry. Employee retention and turnover is every restaurant's number one problem. If you ask any restaurateur what's their biggest struggle, it's always the people, finding, training, and keeping good people. There's some crazy statistics in the industry. The average amount of time that a restaurant worker stays at a job in the United States is 1 month and 26 days. Turnover, restaurants experience an average of 75% turnover. Although we're talking to some groups like Five Guys, for instance, they're reporting that their turnover is north of 200%. So they completely turn over their employees twice a year. And the kicker is 62% of employees say they left their job because of lack of training. So Shifty solves this problem. I tell my managers our employees are our most important asset. Shifty gives the restaurant the ability to make a great first impression on their new employees. Gives them all the tools they need to be successful. They're able to clearly define the job they want them to do. And then the most important part is after they get them trained, they've got to be a good place to work. Any one of my employees can walk out my front door on any given day and get hired at the restaurant across the street. That's just the reality of the industry. So I work very hard to be a good place to work so that my employees don't want to do that. And you do that by keeping your employees engaged. So the way Shifty works, there's two sides to Shifty. Just like any other tech program, there's a manager dashboard where the managers and admins go to kind of create and enter their content. Then there's a mobile application that the employees have on their own personal devices. It's a native Apple and Android app, and it's really slick. And kind of a very high-level overview of how we do what we do. First, it's training new employees. So all restaurants are in a constant cycle of hiring and training. Most systems kind of overcomplicate this training process. We do the opposite. We overly simplify it. We have a patent pending for our very simple interactive checklist functionality. We use flashcards to deliver the information that the restaurant wants the employees to know and memorize, and then they're tested on their flashcards. So what it does is it gives the restaurant the ability to create this training experience that's very repeatable, it's very measurable, ensures everybody gets all the information they need. And it runs on autopilot. So the restaurant can kind of set it and forget it, and the system just does the work. The next, and this is the piece that really sets us apart from any other system in the market, is what we call the menu catalog. It kind of falls under the umbrella of product knowledge. So we give the restaurants the ability to catalog their offerings, so their menu items, their sauces, their ingredients, their bar products, wine, beer, cocktails, things like that. Virtually what it's doing is it's putting the answer to every question an employee might have about the menu that they're selling in the palm of their hands, right? And we're living in a world where any information is available to us at any time. And then engagement is another big piece of what we do. Engagement is a big buzzword in the industry right now. I've been talking about engagement and company culture for decades, but only recently has it become like the big topic of conversation. And that is because of, in the restaurant industry, we're always dealing with the youngest generation of workers. I've been managing young people for many, many years. Every generation is like learning a new language. Right now it's the Gen Zers. The Gen Zers are my favorite. The millennials were tough. But the Gen Zers are, they just want to know what's the mission. They want to help deliver the mission that the restaurant's trying to, the guest experience that they're trying to create. They want to feel supported. They want to feel communicated with. They want to be aligned with the restaurant. And so Shifty really helps with that. We use flashcards. We take a gamified approach to engagement. It's a powerful communication tool and a whole bunch of other stuff. All right, moving on to the good stuff. So we're seeing very exciting traction. We launched a little over 3 years ago. We spent the first year just doing a beta testing period where I was able to kind of handpick a number of different restaurants to put the platform in play. We learned a lot that first year. Then I just started kind of slowly bringing on paying customers one at a time, me wearing all the hats. It took me about a year to hit my first big milestone, which was 100 locations. That was just a little over a year ago, and now we're well over 800 locations. So we're really ramping quickly, and the word is getting out. We've definitely shown product market fit. Our current MRR is a little over, it's almost 36,000. If all of our customers were paying full price today, they'd be just a little over 57,000. We've got some early adopters and heavily discounted customers that will continue to kind of convert to full price as we go. We've got some really impressive logos on our logo slide. We're working with some really great restaurants. We've really kind of zeroed in on what we think is our sweet spot of 5 to 50 locations, those sort of emerging brands. We've honed our sales cycle with that size restaurant. We've gotten it to the point where it's this repeatable process. We can get the lead, do a demo, and convert the sale in under a week, and that's starting to happen more and more all the time. However, while we've been honing this this sweet spot, we've also been talking to enterprise companies, which those are some of the big restaurants. They don't move quite as quickly, you can imagine, but we've finally made it. I've been talking to them since the beginning, but we've got some pilots. We've got a pilot actually 2 pilots with Buffalo Wild Wings, Tropical Smoothie, Red Robin, and we're having some other great conversations. This is why we're winning against our competitors and sort of how we stand out. First, it's my 35 years of experience in the industry. Every time I do a demo, 100% of the time, the first words out of their mouth are, wow, that it's obvious this system was created by someone who understands the industry. It's built on this method of training, this system that I've been delivering for over 30 years. It's proven, it works, it's been a paper-based training, now it's digital. It truly is an all-in-one training, engagement, and scheduling platform. Our competitors might do 1 or 2 of those things, but not all. Our implementation process is I've really kind of dialed that in. It's fast, it's easy. We've got some company-facing AI tools that make the implementation process really easy and painless for the restaurant operator. Shifty also comes loaded with a ton of universal content that restaurants can use as is. They can take it and customize it, edit it to fit their needs, or they can delete everything and start from scratch. So it's a very flexible system. Our product roadmap has also been moving very quickly. We're listening to our customers and always adding things. So the market is huge. There's over 1 million restaurants in the United States alone, not to mention all the ones that are outside of the country. Our serviceable market, we've kind of narrowed down to 688,000. We did that by removing the large, massive enterprise customers that likely have their own internal learning management system, and that gets us to our near-term target of 3.5% of the market share, which would put us at 36 million in ARR. Our business model is simple. We've got it's a B2B SaaS model. Restaurants pay a monthly subscription. They pay per location. We've kind of divided the industry into 3 buckets. It's like a sliding scale. We've got quick service, and full service with a liquor license. If you don't know, full service is like a traditional restaurant where bartenders and servers take your order, bring you your food. Quick service is like a Tropical Smoothie or a Five Guys where you go to the counter and order your food. Got some very validating relationships right now. We've recently received the official endorsement from the Michigan Restaurant Association. They discovered Shifty. They see the value it can bring to their members, and so they kind of have gotten behind the product. They've been very enthusiastically promoting Shifty. When they announced their partnership with us about 2 months ago, our phone's been ringing off the hook, and it's already proving to be a really great channel partner for us. Because of the success we're seeing, we're also in talks with a few other strategically chosen state associations that we're excited about. So there's broadliner distributors in the industry like Cisco or Gordon Food Service. They have what's called preferred vendor programs. They don't take these programs lightly. They very seriously vet the companies that they let in. They put us through the ringer. And we passed, and now we're part of their preferred vendor program, which just means their reps are out there talking to their customers about Shifty. So not only do these relationships give us credibility, they give us reach. So our growth trajectory is moving up rapidly as our partner channels ramp and as we convert our enterprise pilots and scale our digital marketing. That line just keeps moving up quickly and to the right. The demand is there. We've just got to, scale the team and the systems to be able to capture it all. We've got a great team, and really this is the reason why I think we're winning. I've got Greg Packard. He's a strategic advisor and really more of a partner to me. He's also an investor. He gives new meaning to the word supportive investor. So, and he's got lots of experience in business. He's started and exited 3 companies in the HRIS space. He was an early trailblazer in the PEO space. Mike and James are the 2 guys that I hired to develop the MVP. They're freelance developers. They're geniuses. We love working together so much. After we launched the MVP, They came on board full time. James does the UI, UX part of the project. He's got over 20 years as an entrepreneur. Mike is an absolute wizard. He lives in northern Michigan, and he's also got tons of experience. He developed a content management system called Fridge that is still being used today by Beaumont or whatever the heck it's called. And also he developed the official fantasy football app for the NFL. So he's at the top of his field in software development. He's really, really good. Then we have Cassidy. She's the newest addition to our team. She has been doing great things for us. Her official title is Director of Growth and Operations, and she is really succeeding at that. She's got lots of entrepreneurial experience. She was employee number 1 at a startup that was acquired by Bosch. She was also part of the TechStars Mobility Accelerator program, and she's a Princeton graduate. So what else is there? She came on board in January, and our revenue has quadrupled since she started. So really lucky to have her. We also have some other really impressive advisors, legal counsel, and folks that we go to for guidance and support. And we are raising $1 million of preferred stock, a $15 million valuation. We have a lead investor already committed. We've already raised, well, $550,000 actually since I sent this deck. I think it's a little higher than that. We're planning to use the funds to kind of like continue to scale the product and advance the product along. Obviously growing our sales capacity and then scaling our digital marketing and the channels that we're already seeing a huge ROI. So restaurants are at the heart of every community. I've spent my life in them. I know how hard folks work, and Shifty gives restaurants the ability to just train people and keep people the right way. So the demand is there. We just got to scale the systems. So that's all I got. How'd I do?
Wow. You came in right at 15.
Yeah. I started talking a little faster.
That's going to be yours.
Oh.
Do you have any slides?
I do.
All right, so we're going to do Q&A. Catch my eye if you want to ask Beth a question. We're going for quantity. If you want to go for depth, hit her up after the show. Leonard, you're up first. Then Jimmy.
What does the turnover look like with restaurants that are on a winning shift? So the average is 62% of our existing system, 6-12 months in.
If they're using Shifty. We are, well, I can tell you, I've got real data to pull from my restaurant. So I mentioned the average amount of time that a worker stays at a job is 1 month and 26 days. In my restaurant, right now it's at 3 3/4 years that my employees have been with me. We are seeing a reduction in turnover. Not enough time to give you an exact number, but we do have one report that one of our largest customers has seen a 40% reduction in the amount of time it takes to train.
Jimmy, then Jim, then Luke.
I'm sorry if I missed this. So, besides training,
Yes.
right? Walk me through the things that you fix or help with at the restaurant. Is it inventory? Is it operations? Is it scheduling? What does it actually do?
Sure.
Top to bottom.
Yeah, great question. He asked what else does Shifty do? So in addition to training and keeping all the answers to the employees' questions in the palm of their hands, we also do scheduling. It didn't start out being a scheduling app, but our paying customers were practically begging us for it. So about a year in, decided to build a scheduling platform. When it dawned on me that I was going to get to do that, it was a little bit of a dream come true. After using all the other platforms, complaining about all the other platforms, we ended up with a really awesome scheduling platform. So scheduling, engagement, checklists.
What did you use? Did you use Hot Schedule? What did you use before?
Hot schedules and 7 shifts are the two big ones. And that's why I didn't plan to do scheduling at first, but we are now replacing 7 shifts and hot schedules. It ends up being a big part of what we do. Not all restaurants know they need a training platform, but every restaurant needs a scheduling platform. So it opens a lot of doors.
Did you integrate with POS or anything, or are you standalone?
We don't currently integrate with POS, but by the end of Q1, we will be integrated with all the point of sale systems. We're doing a middleware approach, so we will integrate soon.
Okay. No more questions. Sorry. Jim and then Luke.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
You didn't have financial projections in there, so I couldn't tell the how much overhead you need to grow this. So it feels like the training software needs training, that you need people on staff to run a commercial operation to grow it. Can you give us a sense for the margins and the scale of the organization you have to build to reach your goals?
Yeah, well, we are obviously really leaning into the AI. So that is having a big impact on the implementation process. We do have a team of people that help implement, and I don't know if I'm answering your question.
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
You want to know what's the margin?
How people intensive it is for sales to blow up like you're projecting.
Yeah, we are working on a process where people will be able to find Shifty and self-onboard for some of the smaller opportunities. Again, we've kind of, the implementation process is so easy. We are able to feed our system a menu or a website with a menu, and it creates the catalog, so we're able to basically do it with a click of a button, and then all of the training content that comes preloaded into Shifty makes it easy for them to get started on the training. We
Is
do.
that a value-added service, or is that included in the onboarding?
Currently, it's included. We will eventually charge for it, but right now, I'm just trying to remove any friction. I just am
Hence the
adding.
need to have folks self-sign.
Yeah.
All right, Luke and then Craig. Luke.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Being here. The questions around the revenue model for locations.
Yeah.
Can you walk through what those are related to your cost per location?
So you mean the price that they're paying?
Per month, and how much cost you can actually sell it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, there really is hardly any cost. There's some infrastructure, cloud hosting and infrastructure, which is like so very, very minute. So the cost is all in the the team that I need to have to implement it. And our cost, if you remember,
You're going forward, go backward. Up button is backward.
up button is backwards.
Oh.
Then what did I do this way?
Yeah. That's the up button.
Anyway, our price starts at $79 and goes to $229.
That's the up button.
You want me to hit the up button?
Only if you want to show one of your slides, because you're showing Isabel's slides.
Yeah. There we go. Sorry. It's so weird. It skips from that to that. I can't get back to that slide. That is Shifty. Some kind of tech mogul I am. Anyway.
That pun's never getting old.
Everyone always asks how we got to the price that we have, and it's hard, in the restaurant industry. We know what to charge our customers because we know how much it costs us to make it. With technology, it's quite different, and it's really based on what I know all the other platforms cost. And the price I've been paying for systems, there's inventory management, there's point of sale, there's reservations, there's all those systems. I know what they cost. I know how much they get utilized in the restaurant, and we really kind of balance the cost of the product based on that, and also based on sort of the size of the operation.
Craig and then Darby.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Do you worry about step-and-shifts or some of the embedded scheduling software platforms? You simply copying their functionality and adding that to their existing offerings since they're already in so many potential locations?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, of course, I think about that. It always does. First of all, Seven Shifts has been at it for a long time. They are not yet dabbling in the training space. Some of the systems do. What they can't, I was so paranoid about it for the first, several years. I wanted to keep it a secret. But they can't copy me in my experience in the way the platform is created, because I really can't stress enough how I've got a big competitor. Opus is a big competitor, and they've got a lot more locations than I do. They've been doing it a lot longer. Their system is very different, and what our customers are decision maker. It's very, very rare that they don't say yes.
Darby and then Bill.
My question already asked.
Bill and then back to Jimmy.
So, thank you very much. And as a Birmingham resident, I drive by your restaurant all the time.
Wait, have you been there?
No, I've been.
Oh my
He said
God.
drive. Drive by.
Your lobster rolls, Connecticut lobster rolls.
Nice. Thank you. You said our lobster roll.
You did have something.
Talk about retaining customers. I know the restaurant business is tough.
Yeah.
Let's take out those restaurants that are no longer with us. But of ongoing concern, ongoing restaurants, what's your rate?
For our churn,
Renewal.
what's our churn?
Sure.
Right now, our annual churn is at 3%. For a long time, it was 0, and it wasn't until we really started ramping our digital spend that we were, we've been a very scrappy founder and just doing whatever it takes to get the person to say yes. We probably sold the platform to some folks that maybe weren't the best fit for Shifty. They weren't ready to embrace technology. So we did have a small spike in churn recently, but the product is very sticky. The story I love to tell around churn is we had an early customer that had 6 locations, and the owner fell on hard times and they closed all 6 locations pretty much overnight. So there were 6 restaurants with 50 to 70 employees, and all those employees had to, fan out and go find jobs in other restaurants. And we had a huge spike in sales after that because all those employees went to other restaurants where they had to get trained.
Oh, that's
and
huge.
they told all their managers about it. So that is very validating story. It's a sticky product though because they put their blood, sweat, and tears into it. Once all the work is done and their recipes and their procedures and all the things are in there, and it's a low price thing, so they don't. Yeah.
Kristen and then Jimmy again.
Thank you. So we're not excluding them. We are actually in talks with some big enterprise. Those are the big enterprise like the McDonald's and the Burger Kings and the Subways of the world. That it's not that we say no, we're a good fit for them, but really just kind of trying to hone in and fine tune like our market that we're going after. Right, okay. So that is not, yeah, it's not a long term viewpoint. Yeah, we're not focusing our attention on those gigantic ones right now, although we are focusing our attention on some pretty big ones with Tropical Smoothie, Buffalo Wild Wings, and things like that. We're actually talking to Five Guys, which probably is in that category of huge, so those.
That's 1,000 locations right there.
1,800. Yeah. And so they, those types of companies, they don't move quickly. So we're really we're doing everything we can to just add locations. In that location count is growing week over week, but also knocking on some of those larger opportunities at the same time.
Jimmy, what else you got?
So you said you brought that girl on and she's ramping things up.
Yes.
Is the sales cycle like?
That girl's over there.
Oh, she is.
Right.
Oh, hey, how are you? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
If you guys ask harder questions, I'm going to make her answer them.
So is the sales cycle like pitch them, do a demo, they sign?
Yes.
Is it like 2 weeks? Is it
Come here,
2
guys.
months?
Yeah. So she's the numbers girl. So some of those harder questions she was probably dying to answer for me. But so we get a lead that comes in from our digital marketing. We do a demo. First, we're doing a discovery call and disqualifying the people now that we should have disqualified before. We do about a 30-minute demo, maybe 45 minutes, and then go straight to proposal. I'm getting so much better at one-day demo and close and pay all in one day.
And you said the sales sign-up's coming up soon, so when they sign up, so let's just say it's a smooth sales cycle, what's the onboarding process? Do you migrate their data? Do they have to self-migrate? How does that work?
Yeah, everyone's a little bit different, but we say give us 30 days. We kind of start with an introductory call. We get their menu. Most everything we need to onboard them, we can get from their website because every restaurant has online ordering now. So that's the data we use to click a button and build
Yeah, I
their
get that.
menu catalog. We really focus on training them how to use it. It's a very easy system to know like how to use it, but it's why to use it. And we're a training platform, so hopefully
No,
we'll
but is
get-
it are you training them physically or are you giving them like an LMS system? How is it
a
training
little
them?
bit of both.
Okay.
So we use Shifty to train, but also we take three meetings, a 15-minute meeting, a 30-minute meeting, and a 60-minute meeting with our prospects, then depending on the size of the opportunity. But like we just closed an 18 location just this week, closed in under a week. They came in through Google. We did a 30-minute demo, sent him a proposal, and he signed in less than 5 days.
All right,
And
let's take that one apart. What do you pay for Google? What was the onboard for that? What's the annual pay for it?
CPA, yes.
So right now our ACB is a little over $5,000. What's the other question?
So I'm not asking about churn. What is that 18 locations gonna net you in calendar months? Those 18 locations, when they're all up and running on Shifty, what's the revenue that they generate?
Oh, so for that specific location, that deal size is around 18 to 20,000, I think it's 20,000.
79 times 18 times 12.
Yep.
You didn't say I was going to have to do math.
I didn't know you were gonna have to.
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding. But the interesting thing about like them is that they've got a aggressive expansion plans. So they're just going to keep opening locations, and that's why they're turning to an LMS so that they can.
You guys put your CAC.
Go ahead.
Cost of acquisition.
Yes.
You spend money on Google Ads, how much does that spend?
Well, I can't wait.
2,000.
2,000. Right now our CAC is 2,000. It's constantly changing because we're really kind of getting different.
Cassidy, I can't hear you.
That's per client, not per location.
Yeah, our customer acquisition cost for our digital marketing is around 2,100, and that's per customer. That's not per
Per
deal.
location. That's not bad.
So a customer with 18 locations, you get that back in the first month.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. That was your question. All right. Other questions for Beth and Cassidy?
Yeah.
Hi, Greg.
Thanks, Cass.
All right, let's give it up for Beth.
Good job.
Hussey.
No, it's off of No, so I understand all this shit. No, it's cool. But there's
Who was at the Early Stage Capital Summit in October? Hands. Kristen, I saw you there, but you're not paying attention. So the runaway star presentation from that event was Isabel Scheinman talking about Maka Media. Let's find out why. Isabel, come on up. The down button here advances you. Oh, and Tanyella. Isabel and Tanyella. It was just Isabel.
I think we can project. Can you hear us in the back?
Yep.
Great.
You should use your outdoor voice. All right, so this is the down button, and that takes you to your next one.
Thank you so much.
All right, your 15 minutes
Perfect.
begins.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for having us here tonight, and a massive thank you to David for this invitation. We met in October, as he mentioned, actually on our very first day here in Michigan. We relocated from New York to build Maka here in the Michigan ecosystem. We got out of our U-Haul, we went to the summit, we took off our sneakers, put on our boots, and pitched. And in the last month and a half, we have closed over half of our rounds. So it's been a rapid cycle. We're so thrilled to be here and lovely to meet you all and to share with you what we're building at Maka. So by way of brief introduction, my name is Isabel, as David shared. This is my co-founder, Tanyella. The two of us met 12 years ago, actually. And we have been building together ever since. Our first venture, called Nabu, is an ed tech platform that together we scaled to 15 million children globally across 18 markets.
Louder.
A just sharing about our first venture. And yeah, maybe we should do this. Great.
No, sure, I would use it.
Thank you. And now we are focused on what parents tell us is their #1 daily stress: screen time. Everywhere you look, as I'm sure many of you can attest to, children are glued to their devices. And parents tell us that this is a source of stress, of overwhelm, and importantly, of guilt. This problem is enormous. 73% of parents tell us that they're experiencing this on a daily basis, stress over what their children are consuming. And as entrepreneurs, Daniela and I, of course, we see this as a huge pain point, but we also see it as a huge market opportunity. And so we rolled up our sleeves and we went back to school, quite literally. I was invited to NYU Stern School of Business for aspiring media tech entrepreneurs, and Daniela to Harvard School of Education for innovative researchers at the intersection of media and early childhood. And we forged a partnership with the Yale Child Study Center, leading center of academics and practitioners in early childhood, to build what has become the most advanced framework for analyzing children's media for its health. And that is the foundation of everything that we do at Maka.
I'm going to share more with you about that framework. But first of all, let's share what we found in our research with Yale Child Study Center. So first of all, thousands of YouTube videos look like popular kids' cartoons, but actually hide disturbing content. A University of Michigan study found that 96% of content on YouTube that is tagged as kid-friendly actually has no developmental value. Instead, algorithms serve up endless toy unboxing videos and hyper-stimulating cartoons. And the result is that kids become dysregulated, parents feel defeated. As one dad told us, it feels like a race to the bottom of my kid's brainstem. And the solutions out there just are not cutting it. They're not solving the root problem. So YouTube kids lumps toddlers and 7-year-olds together. Netflix and Disney Plus optimize for attention, not for kids' well-being. No one is measuring quality or developmental impact because those metrics for media just don't exist. And that's the gap that Maka fills. So Maka is a breakthrough video streaming app for families with young children. And it's powered by our proprietary AI measurement system that's grounded in developmental science. So it dynamically maps a child's needs and a parent's preferences to recommend healthier content. So parents tell us what matters to them, let's say empathy, or maybe their 3-year-old is struggling with sharing, like a lot of 3-year-olds. And so Maka curates videos that nurture those skills, featuring characters that their child already loves. If a parent needs 15 minutes to make dinner, Maka sets a session that ends naturally, helping kids transition off of screen time seamlessly. At the heart of Maka is our patent-pending algorithm, mapping 10 domains of development and 650 subdomains, from emotional regulation to cognitive scaffolding and creativity. It's the first AI system built explicitly around child development science, rather than just engagement metrics. So here's how it works. Our AI pipeline deconstructs every video into its audio, visual, and narrative components. It then analyzes them against the Maka imprint, which is our developmental framework. And human experts review edge cases. So it's really important that we have humans in the loop here. There's a team of researchers at Yale and Harvard, and increasingly here in Michigan too. It generates a unique fingerprint score for each piece of content, and those scores then feed back into a personalized recommendation engine for each family and their preferences.
So we built a simple prototype to test engagement.
And within 2 weeks, 750 families signed up. So many that we had to close the prototype. The feedback was clear. Parents trusted Maka's brand with our partnership with Yale. They saw value in what we were offering, and they told us they were willing to pay for this product. So we put that to the test, and we launched a $5.99 per month subscription product. And with just one email prompt, we saw 50% conversion to our paid product. And we saw 90% retention of those customers month over month. The 10%, for those wondering, are not our core customer. Those are families that don't believe in screen time or doing what they can to keep screen time out of their family, and families that don't see it as a problem. These are fringe cases. We're looking at the core family, the majority of families, 90% who see this as an extraordinary product for their family system. Thank you. So we're going after an enormous market at Maka, the children's media landscape, a $372 billion market. We're starting with a focused strategy here in the US, which represents a $1.8 billion market size. And our go-to-market strategy is based on a unique insight, which is to work through centers of trust, daycare centers and pediatric offices. We have a partnership with 700 daycares representing 300,000 families. That will be our go-to-market strategy starting in 2026. These are partners forged through our relationship with the Yale Child Study Center. You can also see here we have 2 influencers signed on to represent Maka with a following of a combined 4 million families. So the demand and appetite is there. And we wanted to just touch on the landscape that we're entering into. The unique nature of Maka is that we close a trust gap with families that others are not solving. You can see at the top line here, part of our landscape, we look at the major streamers. Now, the big challenge with these major streamers, with Disney, with Netflix, they're optimizing for attention, not for children's well-being. Families do not trust these platforms with their child's well-being. Then we look at line 2 here. Companies like Bark and Custodio, these fit into the landscape of parental monitoring and controls. Most of these companies are focused on children 8+ years old. Maka's focused on 0 to 5-year-olds. These companies are retroactive. They're telling parents what has happened, what is bad that their teen is doing on screen. They're not proactively offering recommendations and serving up content. Then we look to line 3 here. Companies like Good Inside, some of you might know with young children, Dr. Becky's platform and others that are offering digital parenting advice. Where we differentiate is we have an embedded content platform. Other companies are offering advice. We are offering a 2-click solution to get your child the content that they know and love. And finally, Common Sense Media, and maybe some of you, again with young children, might know, a rating system for content. They do have children's content on the platform. They have a trust symbol for families, but again, no embedded player, and a very frictionful experience for families who go and look up a rating and then have to go and look for the content. So Maka is an absolute standout. We are operating in really white space here with a player that maximizes a child's well-being, that is science-based, grounded in 2 years of R&D with our research partners, that offers proactive recommendations and insights to families, and that integrates the content directly in platform. And we wanted to touch on our revenue model and business model, which has all of the hallmarks of venture scale, what we know you are all looking for here in this room. We monetize with a monthly subscription product, $5.99. This is a product, as Daniela shared, built on top of YouTube content, giving us the opportunity to sell a premium version of Maka as we move off of YouTube content and work directly with IP holders themselves. We price that at $14.99. We have already done pricing tests around both of these monthly fees, and there's high willingness to pay these monthly subscriptions. Our target in year 1 is to reach 15,000 subscribers. That gets us to just over $1 million ARR in our first year of product in market. By year 3, we have 1 million subscribers, having really activated the network effect of a product like Maka, which is going to spread like wildfire with word of mouth. Our CAC, as you can see, drops year on year because in our space specifically, with families, as I just mentioned, products spread through word of mouth. We can keep our cost of acquiring customers low and increasingly lower year on year as the product is spreading naturally through circles. And we are on a high growth trajectory with our target being acquisition by 2030. We are looking to the likes of Google, OpenAI, Roblox, all of whom have failed to solve this trust gap with families. And this brings us to where we are today. We are raising our 2 million pre-seed. We have already closed 1.25 of that round, so we are raising the remaining $750,000. We raised a friends and family that was oversubscribed last year. We hit every milestone that we set out to achieve with that round. We built our prototype, as we showed you. We filed 2 patents, the first on our framework for child development, the second on the architecture to leverage that framework for analyzing video content. And we've won a very unique YouTube license, which allows us to build our go-to-market product. This allows us to embed YouTube content off of the YouTube algorithm into the Maka player. So you never have to go to YouTube, you stay within the entire Maka ecosystem. We pull content off the algorithm, we can show it no ads, no autoplay, which are the 2 biggest pain points for families. And we feel we have found our product market fit. We know that from our prototyping, demand is there, and energy is high around what we've built. And as I mentioned, the targets of this pre-seed round, launch our mobile app, which is currently in development. We will be launched at the end of January 2026, reach our first 15,000 customers, getting us to our first $1 million ARR in year 1.
And just to end, we want to share our big vision with you. So of course, launching a D2C app is just the beginning. It's a Trojan horse into the much bigger opportunity that we see. So we are building the AI infrastructure for the future of children's digital well-being. So we envision a future where Maka is embedded, Maka AI is embedded into every digital product that children touch. Whether that's apps, games, learning platforms, we'll be ensuring that every digital experience they have is safe and fun and enriching. And we do this by licensing our API for streamers, for toy brands, for edtech platforms. Our long-term goal is to make Maka the industry standard for trusted family content and digital experiences. So all kids' products have our AI embedded into their platforms. We've already piloted this with 2 companies, a major Japanese content production studio where we analyze their content for the US market, help them to package it directly into the market, and they were one of the leaders at Kidscreen last year. And then we've also worked on a UK Storytime AI app where parents and kids use the AI app to write their own stories, and they weren't actually always sure that the storylines were appropriate. And so we integrated there and helped them with their product as trusted and vetted for children's use. So now's the time for Maka.
Thank you so much. We welcome your questions.
Thank you, Isabel. I love that you called it a Trojan horse. I mean, that's what most parents think that these kids' videos are anyway. It is rare that questions queue up before I get up here. But we've got Jimmy, Katie, and then Luke and Kristen, and then Darby. And what I want to do is I want to walk around and give you all the mic so everybody can hear the questions, and then I want to walk back and give it to you.
Fantastic.
All right, so lots of walking for me.
Thank you. I've heard a lot about you, Isabel, and I'm pleasure to meet you as well. Welcome to Michigan. Question on the customer acquisition channels specifically. You showed really low numbers for your CACs, at least in the video game space and online community space. Sometimes it's like one-to-one for those customer acquisition costs. So can you talk about those channels and like Ms. Rachel, who you doing? Yeah.
Thank you. So I'll touch on channels and then we can talk about content platforms. So our partner, briefly, our partnership with daycares is really how we keep our CAC low because this network of daycares operates as a one-to-many. So bringing our product to a network of daycares that operate with many families, our job is to ensure that the daycares are equipped to share Maka with families and adoption, and we've seen this already through discussions and early pilots. Adoption is extremely high because families are already going to their daycares to ask for recommendations. So we're actually not pursuing a digital marketing approach at all. We're going through channel partnerships, and same with the influencer strategy. Our two main influencers will be recommending Maka to the families that they follow. So that's how we keep CAC low.
And is that one channel to 700 daycares?
It's a few channels to 700 daycares.
Jimmy?
I get one question, huh? Okay, so on the YouTube partnership, that's great. Is there rev share there for one? And then obviously, what is your content strategy long term? Do you guys keep going down that path or develop your own? And then as far as the API and the other partnerships, what's the revenue share like as far as what you do when people bring you content? There's got to be an end game for them. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so with our YouTube license, it's a straight flat fee, so we're not paying per content or per download or per view. Yes.
What is it?
Can I share that? Maybe not.
We have,
Sorry?
I will just share. We have a very special deal with YouTube that we shouldn't probably share, but we have a very special deal because they see a lot of value in what Maka is bringing. Also, we are doing workshops with a number of YouTube creators to help them upstream improve their content before it even reaches the YouTube platform. Because of that mutuality, they've given us a deal that most people don't have.
And in terms of getting content in the future, our plan is to go directly to creators on YouTube. So for every Miss Rachel, there's so many other incredible educators that their content's not rising to the top of the algorithm. And so we're going directly to those, as well as to some of the bigger ones who actually hate YouTube because it's difficult to monetize. So we'll bring them onto the platform with some kind of a rev share, and also looking the same AI model that we've built can also generate scripts and content. That's our background, is actually the creation of children's content. We've created over 1,000 pieces of original IP sold to Scholastic. We know what kids love, so down the line we'll get into that. And B2B, the model for B2B is basically we have an API that would integrate into their backend. So the business model for that we're still developing, but it will be a licensing model to other companies.
1,000 pieces of original IP. You bury the lead. Kristen.
Thanks. Shall I go? Okay, thanks. I did see you at the summit. You were terrific there too, so congrats. Yes. I wanted to dive into the competition just a little bit. Who's out there? Is this just a speed to market play, or like what is already existing in this space? And then is it the exit strategy participants on the other side of that transaction that are maybe working on something that you can do better than proprietary?
That's our exercise for the day. Nice to see you again, and thank you. We appreciate that. So the landscape, it is really white space. Our closest competitor was a company called Noggin. That you might know. Noggin was part of Paramount. Noggin went under in the Paramount sale and has now rebooted, but they have rebooted as a gaming platform. So they've turned from what could have been a competitor to a potential strategic partner. We are in dialogue with them and former Noggin and current Noggin employees as well. It is a speed to market play for us. The time, as Tanella ended on, the time is now because AI content is flooding these platforms and trust is at an all-time low in families. So the rush is to be the first to market with a symbol of trust that families start to recognize. The reason we're moving D2C and then B2B is because we need to get our brand awareness into families as quickly as possible. We need them to engage with our product directly to build that symbol of trust out for families. And the reason that other companies won't do this, first of all, if you know, YouTube wanted to, they would have done this already, but they are an aggregator, they're not a curator. It is fundamentally misaligned to their business model to curate content in this way. So again, they see us as a potential strategic partner and ultimately acquisition target because we do something that they don't do internally.
Okay, flip that script. Flip that script. Maka is a curator, not an aggregator. Luke.
Great presentation. My question relates to analytics around underage viewers, like the users of your platform are largely underage, and specifically we have laws around aggregating and tracking usage data. Are you doing anything to monitor engagement of those users around your platform and the content that you're right now showing? And is there any benefit to the way that you're doing your platform that being around those laws and making you unique and market going forward? Thank you.
Who gets it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really important. You know, privacy is really important for children and protecting their data. So Maka is COPPA compliant, GDPR, which is the major regulation as well. And actually, you know, that's a really good point around another part that we add into our AI model is including that within there so that other companies, as they're thinking about products for children, can have the regulation baked into their products without having to do the work themselves to do that. So, you know, there is certain disaggregated things that we can follow in terms of preferences, but it's really on parents. You know, parents are telling us what their values are, what their interests are, whether they want a mix of entertaining and educational content, you know, whether they want to blacklist Bluey, but they love Miss Rachel. So the parent is really in control here, and then matching that with, you know, just watch data, which we are allowed to store. Yeah.
Good answer. All right, Darby, Chandy, Greg, Leonard.
Great. I'm going to follow Jimmy. I got three questions. They'll all flow together. They'll all flow together. So first of all, the YouTube content's great. There's other content out there that people are used to. I mean, there is stuff on Netflix. There is stuff on other places. What is your plan to integrate those? Because I want to get access. If I've got all these subscriptions I'm already paying for, how do I get them into there? Second part is your target audience is going to start aging. What is your plan to age with them and start dealing with when they become preteens? And how are you going to deal with which movies am I going to allow them to watch? And is this going to be the platform that actually helps me as they go through there? And then the last part is there's still malicious people out there. And I know, because I've dealt with it, people that figure out how to get around your algorithm and they act in malicious ways. They figure out keys they can put in their content to bypass or pass through your filters. What is your plan to constantly monitor them? Because there's companies out there that all they do is come up with these things and update the filters over and over and over again because of the unfortunate bad actors out there. Is that all?
Thank you, Darby. No, totally wrong. Okay, so Isabel, you get channels. Daniela, you get aging, and then Isabel, you get malicious content.
We're gonna flip that slightly because Daniela leads our product, so she'll talk to the last to the best. I will start with channels. So the reason that we are going to YouTube is because over 95% of families are on YouTube getting their primary entertainment from YouTube. So the content that most families want already exists within YouTube. Even if that content is hosted also on other platforms, they typically have a handful of episodes also on the YouTube platform. And our plan is not to integrate them with a Netflix and with a Disney and with a Hulu, but rather to identify which pieces of IP live on those platforms non-exclusively that we could work directly with the IP holders. We also are identifying gaps in where content exists because we can see what parents are asking for and not finding, And to the point earlier, we will create Maka originals down the line based on the gaps that we're seeing in the ecosystem. So that's on platforms and partnerships. Aging, yes. So we are right now focused very squarely 0 to 5 year olds, but we already have the framework built out up to 8 years old. And we have designed our system in such a way that it is modular. So we can continue adding ages that will feed into our system, and the model is designed to take any input that we have and analyze content against those inputs. So we're constantly growing with a family. But there is enough to do with 0 to 5 year olds. No one is focused on this space for 0 to 5 year olds in the way we are. But you can also take our API into products that children 8+ are using already, and Maka brand can be available there. So we will grow with families.
Yeah, cybersecurity, really important. We're working with some of the top people in that space. I will say that it's really important that we are not just an AI model, it's human in the loop. So we have a team of researchers at Yale and Harvard who are watching every single video. So, AI is the first line of defense. It detects brands, it detects potentially explicit content. It's really good at that. It predicts screen refresh rates of highly stimulating content. It does better than humans, but we still have like a very high dial-up on, making sure that content is always reviewed by a human. And I think it will remain that way for a time to come. The good thing is kids don't need a lot of content, actually. They watch the same thing over and over and over. So we will have thousands of videos, but most kids go through, a fairly small slate.
Teletubbies fans. Yeah, that would be me. So I'm gonna grab Greg and Darby's question. Is there a path from 0 to 5 or 0 to 8 to 10-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 42-year-olds?
Yeah, yes.
You get to keep those eyeballs.
From a developmental standpoint, right, it becomes a lot more complex the older we get. I think one of the benefits that we have of squarely focusing on this audience is that we have the milestones laid out. We can align that to Head Start, to Common Core. We can certainly go up as we start to think about older ages, school ages, whether it goes to adults. But I think there's a lot of technology that we're developing underlying that has a lot of different use cases for older adults as well, probably.
I think by the time I'm 10, I'm jailbreaking whatever my parents gave me anyway. Chandu, you're up next.
So nice presentation. With the 2-year-old in the household, I definitely see the value in this. I have 2 questions, if I may. So when you look at these big streaming platforms, for example, Netflix, 2 of the biggest costs, they said, is one is basically content, second is technology. So in regards to the content, at least with my 2-year-old, our experience has been she doesn't like to watch the same content every day, even though we restrict her time to 30 minutes a day. So there should be constant battle for new content. So when you scale, how do you plan on addressing that? And in regards to the technology, the second biggest cost Netflix reported was cost regards to their technology, like research and technology, and a lion's share of that is going through algorithms where, constantly learns about it. For example, when we watch Netflix, Netflix will automatically recommend shows, etc., etc. The question being, how do you build a moat with respect to your Maka platform where, it won't be like Netflix style where you can scale. So that's my question.
That's a really good question. Apologies to Leonard and Jimmy. We're going to have to get back to you guys in afterward. So
Cost of content. Yeah, let's start there. Cost of content and then cost of tech. So, cost of content. Children's content looks very different to long-form adult content. You can create extraordinary children's content at very low cost. The example of Miss Rachel in her earliest days, who grew to be the #1 YouTube channel. Miss Rachel. So low tech, yes. And an extraordinary developmental value in Miss Rachel. So costs of the content model of Netflix and others is broken primarily because the expenses are so high. That will not continue to work. Our entry point using YouTube content and then going directly to YouTube creators who are creating content at extremely low cost and extremely high value is how we get out of where others have become stuck. And on the cost of product, so the core IP of Maka is the framework that we have spent 2 years developing, which maps every milestone of a child 0 to 5 up to 8 now, development, and aligns that to storylines and to indicators in children's content. And so we are not recreating with every family. What we're doing is understanding where a child is in their developmental trajectory and matching content to that with filters of preferences based on family. So we don't, the costs of technology, of course, are standard in that we need to have a wonderful experience that delights both child and parent. But the costs around our algorithm and continuing to develop product are not exorbitant. We're investing largely in our go-to-market. That is actually where we need to focus our attention, breaking into families and building a brand that is a household name. So we're reserving much of the capital, both of this round and in future, for go-to-market and continuing to grow our customer base.
On behalf of every investor in the room, thank you for investing in go-to-market. We don't like to pay for everything. Let's give it up for Maka Media. And afterwards, Jimmy, Leonard, I'm sorry we didn't get to your questions. I like it that there's lots of questions.
Great question. Thank you.
All right. Oh boy. There we go. There. We first saw VERN we last saw VERN rather in June of last year, is that right? And what an amazing 16 months it has been for emotional recognition. Coming to us from the west side of the state, thank you for making the schlep. Craig Tucker, come tell us what you've been doing with our money.
Thanks, David. I appreciate that. All right. So, since we last saw everybody, first of all, my name is Craig Tucker. I'm CEO and founder of VERN, real-time emotion recognition at scale, used by tens of thousands of people around the world in award-winning mental health and customer service applications. Since we last saw you, we graduated from the Conquer Accelerator from the MSU Research Foundation this summer. We have made $100,000 in the first. Our first money came in about January, made $100,000 until September. September, we doubled that, and we're on pace to triple that by the end of the year, or maybe the first week or two after, the quarter, because with the holidays how that works. And I'd like to thank Dr. Sequestro Sandhu for being one of our investors and helping making all of this possible. Since then, we've kind of found that emotion is proving to be the next frontier of AI ROI, and we're the ones leading it. Adam Saw, the former first employee of Google, he's one of their chief engineers, has 25 patents in his name, 9 exits and 3 IPOs, took one look at VERN and said, that's the fastest check he ever wrote. He did, within about 25 minutes he invested. The reason is because he wasn't betting on the hype, he was betting on the infrastructure which makes AI accountable, responsible, and actually usable and deployable. It's not a layer that you bolt on, it turns out it's actually the moat beneath it. Problems are still the same. $75 billion of churn in customer service, almost $895 billion in healthcare every year. 1 in 5 students is left behind. The cost is really immeasurable. And so we are helping to try to tackle that problem with our emotional recognition. We can trigger an LLM, but the problem is large language models guess emotions. That's not really trustworthy. That's basically playing roulette with everyone's mental health. VERN doesn't guess, it measures. We measure anger, sadness, fear, love, and joy in 0 to 100% intensity, accurate, and has been proven out in production now currently. The next evolution of the user interface is going to be a person. We've created digital photorealistic 3D avatars that are emotionally intelligent, work in real time, and we can have actual live conversations with them. We had a hilarious moment this last Monday. We were in New York City. I got invited out there by Adam and also Albert Chun, who's formerly of Harvard School of Education. Now he's the leader and founder of AI Circle. And we got a chance to have people in New York come up and try to beat the hell out of our avatars. You know, cocky, cynical New Yorkers came out there and they gave it a shot, and well, they failed because we put a lot of effort and time into it. VERN is the reason why it stays on the rails. Even taught a young groom who's going into a Bollywood wedding how to dance. We didn't actually expect that, but the video's online. You guys can see it. It's actually a riot, right? And she doesn't know how to dance, and then pretty soon we had the whole entire crowd clapping along with us. It was actually a real big hoop. Let's see. Sorry about that. I just got off the plane, so I'm really tired. So what we're noticing is that what we've launched is these avatars, right? And excuse me. We've launched these avatars on a website called humans.chat. Check it out, please. We're using the same Google acquisition strategy that Adam had led Google to all of its success, obviously. You guys don't know who they are. And in the last couple of weeks, we've actually helped solve the last mile problem. So now we have all of these 3D photorealistic avatars in a WordPress plugin. There's 895 million of those in the web and around the world. It's the #1 leading platform. And now anybody can buy in and have themselves an AI human, deploy it on their website. We actually have one on aihuman.live if you want to check that out. So what we found is that that's kind of the key to winning the avatar market is solving that last mile. We're in discussions with some of our biggest vendors. We'll be flying out to California probably in a week or two. What we kind of found is that the AI's biggest problem isn't the actual capability, it's the connection. And we solve that turning every chatbot, every avatar, and every agent into a trusted human experience. So this isn't a question of if, it's really a question of who leads it, and with VERN, you guys aren't going to know the answer. Thank you.
Great job, Craig. Thank you.
We invested in Avana Health, I think, before very early in its journey. We last saw Avana in October of last year. May of last year? Of this year. And it's exciting the progress that you've made just in these last 6 months. Peter, please come up and tell us more about that.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm Peter Paypal, co-founder and CEO of Avana Health. Can everybody hear me? Okay. All right. Perfect. So first and foremost, thank you so much to have me back. When we were here in May, a number of you reinvested or invested for the first time. We're very appreciative of that, and we put that money to great work. So first and foremost, who's Avana? What are we doing? Avana Health is addressing significant unmet needs in uterine health. We're doing that with a very fast-acting drug and device treatment system. We're starting by focusing on acute abnormal uterine bleeding or heavy menstrual bleeding, which impacts at least 1 in 3 women, and postpartum hemorrhage, which is the leading cause of maternal death globally. My sister-in-law almost died from catastrophic uterine bleeding, so we treat this mission with a great sense of urgency. And so, since I was here last, I'm happy to report we have, well, actually, one more thing about what we're up to. So the treatment system, it's a drug, off-patent, commercially available, and we have repurposed that local clotting cascade with a new proprietary device. And so I'm very excited to share that, since you all know startup culture very well, we're hitting that key inflection point where things are starting to hit one milestone after another, rapid momentum, and it is a lot of fun. It's very exhausting, but a lot of fun. Since I was here, we did complete our phase 1 clinical study. The results were, just as I started to share before, when I was here in May, really robust safety profile, drug very well tolerated. The efficacy signals were showing a reduction in uterine bleeding quite significantly, so it's a great go signal. We then went on to publish a peer-reviewed article in the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists journal, ONG Open, with key opinion leaders, subject matter experts, really highlighting the patient population that's most impacted by acute heavy menstrual bleeding and how they're really underserved by the current treatments that are available. So positioning Avana in essence as a real thought leader in addition to just creating a product to solve big problems. We then went on and conducted another clinical study in October. It's a device-based study as we're getting ready for our phase 2, making sure we're learning as many insights as possible. One of the key opinion leaders that we were working with knows what we're up to, is on our advisory board, introduced us to another trusted company he works with. They really specialize in medical device technology, and the business model is around licensing tech from that platform. And we were able to really articulate and understand, wow, there is some real value-add tech here that could lower our R&D costs and get us to market much faster on the 510K side of that device approval. We incorporated aspects of that evaluation, 3 different rounds of evaluation, incorporated that into some of the clinical device study that we did. Very promising. We have a signed memorandum of understanding. We're working on that licensing deal right now and finalizing that up. On the drug side of things, which we have repatented into the device, worth always emphasizing, we have the ability to structure a strategic supplier agreement there. We were just in Germany, myself and my chief scientific officer, negotiating a potential strategic relationship there. But we also have a competitive opportunity coming in as well to really generate a little competition on the side. But it's all funneling into a very strong strategy around de-risking this program to potential exit partners. We're already engaged with them, and we're thinking through very soundly, how do we not just have robust data, but show that this can be rapidly scaled and commercialized so that we can get this into the hands of as many practitioners as possible, to as many patients as quickly as possible. So all of that flows into advancing our phase 2 study. Just this morning we got off. We envision this as a multinational study. However, we can rapidly start this up. We are deploying to do so. The first principal investigator shared today that they are able to start getting this study set up in the next week so that we can start treating patients in end of January next year. Very, very rapid generation of data here. Now, all of that leads into, well, how do you fund such a thing? In September, we started a new round that's priced preferred. We brought on a very wonderful lead investor, Scott Gould of Ava Partners. He generated a due diligence memo and started syndicating. We were hoping we would just get $900,000. That would really allow us to plan and get everything set up so that we could then raise and launch into something. However, I'm excited to say within just 2 months, we already have 1.5 million committed.
Applause.
What makes this a pleasure is how Scott has brought so many mission-aligned investors to join us. These are serial entrepreneurs that are also, say, a decorated Army combat surgeon, a pediatrician, experienced financial advisors, an MBA who is in charge of curing, I would say. Just really, really incredible people that understand the mission we're driving toward. And so, if you would like to know more or potentially invest, see preferred with a warrant. And so, come let us know.
Thank you, Peter.
I want to take a moment. In the last 90 minutes, we have seen such amazing innovation, and all of them are raising. I gave a presentation earlier this year that said if you know interest rates are going to drop next year, the time to invest is now, when valuations are lower, because they're going to be higher next year. But not all of us have the liquidity to go and invest whenever we want. Yet here are 6 really opportunities, all vying for our wallets. So what I want you to do is to be like Jim Agley. Jim Agley looked at 6 other innovations last month, and he came closest to our model investor for October. Jim is the Spirit of Point Angels Award winner for October, our first double up repeat winner, Jim Agley. Give him a round of applause. On the tables are QR codes, this QR code in fact, that will help you invest like Jim. What I want you to do at this point your phone at this or at the card on your table. Look at the 6 deals that we just saw today. I'm giving every one of you $1 million to invest.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Invest them as you value these presentations, because that's our tell of how much you want to invest in them in real dollars instead of in monopoly money. So these are the 6: Signal-Wise, Sequestro, Avana, Shifty, VERN, and Maka Media. Take a moment now while I sing the Jeopardy song to spread your million around. I'm sorry.
Favorite turtle, Jim? Whatever you got. Good answer. You know how you think? Yeah, that's right, you did. Who else we got? Oh, what did you mean? Oh my goodness, you're right. Thank you. Where'd you go? Jimmy, get your butt over here. You won last month and you didn't collect your drink. Well, get over here.
Jim gets all the recognition.
Well, you weren't here to collect your accolade last time.
I don't have a glass.
Thank you, Apollo.
I don't want to sit with Jim calling you. I want to sit with you.
Thank you, sir. I was hoping you were going to recognize me. Well, you got to show up to get recognized. Come on up for your photo op.
I missed one time in 2 years.
We drink to the success of our ventures. May they grow, prosper, and exit.
Let's get it one more.
Want to get one more?
Yes.
Gentlemen?
You want to get in there?
One.
Michaela?
No, we're close to that. We're okay. Thank you.
You got us?
That's better.
Thank you,
You
Michaela.
guys made motion. I'm like,
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, that is the point, right? What's going on in the deal, bottom end of the deal flow funnel? Bed Connect
is moving forward with what investors in the room? Only investors who aren't in the room. So there are a group of Pointe Angels who enjoy our content via video, and they're excited about that connect. They're also excited about Inspired Solutions. Inspired Solutions is a bit of a whipsaw activity where we try to get the lead investor to sign up by saying that we will match their dollars. So we're actually going in ahead of the lead investor. Inspired Solutions, as you may recall, does PFAS destruction. It's the back end of what Jürgen Kahler's venture does, which is PFAS sequestration. Rhea Health presented to us 2 months ago. Rhea Health is working in the education space for women's health, specifically for birth control options. And their app is continuing to do very, very well. So the investors who are interested in that space, please, when there's a deal in motion, that means that 2-week clock is running. The 2-week clock is run out on the investor call. So if you are a participant in Grip Fusion, you're talking to me right now to get that check in because they're holding the door for us. They've actually overfilled their round and they made a commitment to Pointe Angels to take our checks. We have 4 or 5 angels on the wire for this deal. Light-handed, similarly, we have a flock of 3 angels on that one. Revimo 2. These are deals where there's already blood in the water. We already have Pointe Angels who are participating. So this is the opportunity at the end of the year when you look at your allocations to say, these are the ones that have gone through every stage gate. Take a look, decide if they're for you. And then come back next month, not to this room, but to our usual room, the St. Clair room, to celebrate what an amazing, pivotal year 2025 has been for our club. I think as we write the history of Pointe Angels, 2025 will be the pivotal year, the year that we were exit-free until 2025, but also the year that we did a lot of our own innovation around operating models and kept the lights on for all of us to do the work that we do in the innovation ecosystem, mostly Michigan's innovation ecosystem, but we recognize that there were out-of-state presenters in that portfolio. That's all I've got for you for today. Thank you very much for joining us in the big room for a change. Now please accost all of the presenters for all that stick around.